Yeah.
My biggest obstacle is I start exercising and I go great for a couple of weeks and then I give up. And I know that I need to create consistency and stick with it. So, this is what one of our clients actually said to us. And look, consistency is essential for a whole host of different reasons. And the most important is it helps you achieve and maintain your overall fitness and your health for life. So today, Sel, I thought what we'd do first is break down why consistency is important and then have a look at how we might go about creating some level of consistency. How are you today, anyway?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. The first thing that I thought about was adaptation, progression, and performance, because we know that when you consistently exercise, your body adapts to it and it places, those demands on your body. So what that means is, particularly depending on the type of workouts that you're doing, that could lead to improvement in your strength, your flexibility, your endurance, and just generally your overall fitness. And so that means that not only does your body get more proficient in the physical activities that it's doing, but it also means that things in daily life get a lot better and easier to do.
Agree.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I think what's important is it doesn't really matter, whether you're someone who is trying to achieve some type of fitness goal and what level you are. That consistency is an essential element for helping you live a better life. So, have you got something that you want to add in regards to consistency before I go on to my next point?
Yes. Consistency
Mm-hmm.
also brings about routine, I think.
Yes.
You know that if you're doing it every day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a deliberate action,
Yeah.
that routine is going to kick in, and it's going to be no different to taking your wheelie bins out once a week. You know that you've got to take them out on a certain day. No different to doing your dishes every night, or it's that routine that's going to kick in with consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. And you must have been in my head because that was my second note.
There you go.
Da, 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 da.
Great minds.
Yeah, absolutely great minds. The third thing that I wrote down was it builds discipline and commitment. And I think this is really important when it comes to sticking to that routine that you're talking about as well too, because the more you stick to it, the more you are motivated to keep doing it. And one of the things that we constantly hear is, I don't have the motivation to exercise. And I also think that when you develop that level of discipline or commitment to doing something for yourself, it has a flow-on effect to the rest of your life.
Definitely.
Yeah. What's your next one?
Boundaries.
Oh, boundaries. Interesting.
Yes, it
Go for it.
creates boundaries. If you are being consistent with your workout, you're setting boundaries for those people around you. They're not going to be able to cut into that because, as you just said, it's going to create discipline. It's going to create something set in stone. So those boundaries are not going to be able to be broken, or they're not going to be able to be broken as easily as if you were just sort of all over the place with what you were doing.
I like that. One of the ones that I wrote down, Sel, was that you develop a more positive relationship with exercise.
Yes.
Because it was one of the things that I got asked yesterday by one of our PT clients. She said, I don't really love exercise. And I said to my husband, gee, it'd be so much easier if I loved exercise. But what I did notice is that she said to me, I'm going on holidays, so can we develop a plan that I can take with me so I can keep exercising? And I've just gone, oh, you have just developed a better relationship with exercise. So I said, you have just made my heart sing. So I thought that's pretty important, that, and sometimes we don't even take the time to acknowledge that, though, Sal, that we are
No,
thinking differently about something.
yes. And a lot of times when we go on holidays, everything goes on holidays.
It
Even
does.
yeah. So, you know, she's getting into that discipline
Yeah.
level with her workouts, which is wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and I think the other thing about it is that it helps you maintain the health benefits that you get from it as well, too.
Hmm.
So, you know, exercise can help prevent up to 40 different chronic diseases. So the more you stick at it, you know, the healthier you are going to be. So
Yes.
I think that's a absolute strong reason to keep exercising and to get consistent with it.
Yeah, definitely. And it reminds me of a conversation I had this morning. I had this conversation yesterday with this young girl. She's 27.
Yep.
And she's had a bad back, a couple of issues with her discs. Now she was
Yes.
referred to a specialist April last year.
Oh, and she still hasn't gone?
She hasn't gone.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was just nag this morning. And
Yeah.
but you know, I'm explaining to her as someone who is in their 50s and
Yeah.
who, you know, who we specialize with, what's going to happen if she doesn't go to that specialist appointment? You know, and I said it could very well lead to a back operation. That scared her. She went outside and rang the specialist. You know, but that's the thing. You know, these, if you're consistent with your workout,
Yeah.
it's going to prevent it or prolong it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, anything that happens in your body. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the other aspect of it is that, you know, when you are consistent with an exercise routine, then it prevents that fitness decline that you could have, you know.
Yeah.
And so right now, she's not really feeling the impact of it. But later on in life, she's probably going to feel the impact of it, which is what you alluded to when you put the scary cell face on.
there was another guy standing there doing some stretches, and he goes, "You're just a ray of sunshine, aren't you?" No, I'm giving you the truth.
Yeah. Look, and I think like the biggest thing about maintaining your fitness is how it helps you live life. So it isn't just about, you know, the biceps and the lovely muscles or anything like that. It does help you, you know, lift things up off the ground, you know, get things out of your higher cupboards. And so, you know, ladies, if you are noticing right now, you know, you can't open a jar, or you're using two hands to get a saucepan off the cooktop, then, you know, they're all signs that there's a decline in your fitness, and, you know, a really good reason to be consistent with exercise.
Definitely. You know, another measurable, as we like to call them, is driving. Driving is such a huge one, because we hear so often that, you know, our ladies want to keep their independence.
Yes.
But if you are not strong enough to drive, that license is going to be taken away from you.
Yeah.
You know, and it comes down, you know, it's your reflexes as well. You know, when you are doing your fitness, it's your strength, not only your strength, but your flexibility and your mobility.
Yeah.
You know?
And even
and
your
mobility.
Cognitive.
Yes. And mobility includes driving, but being able to do this and do that, you know. And you go into some car parks and it's scary that people just reverse out and they're just like, you know, that's scary.
Yeah. Well, maybe they have one of those cameras in their car.
Yeah.
You know, and cars have come such a long way from, you know, when you or I first started driving cars. And what those changes have meant is that it's lovely to drive a car. It's so much more pleasant, but it's taken away all of those physical things that we would have kept on doing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Winding down windows, you know,
Windows.
persevering
Yeah.
with the heat on a hot day. All of
Yes.
those types of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Having
as
to
you
turn to see
turn your
what's
head.
behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The final one that I've got, Sel, is that long-term sustainability. Okay, so it means that you're not doing this yo-yo thing, this crash and burn. You know, I'm going to do it and then I give it up. I'm going to do it and then I'm going to give it up. So you get that level of consistency means, again, you've got some great structure in life, and there's just so many roll-on effects from exercising. And we've only named a few of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you got anything that you want to add to that before we move into how to build?
Well, talking about how, like it rolling into other parts of your life, we have seen it firsthand that people will come in for the exercise, and then they're going, "Oh, you have a 28-day challenge." You know, Fueled Up Challenge, which is our nutrition program, part of it. So that's how it flows onto the next, you know. So you could start exercising, then you're going to start eating better because you're feeling better in your body.
Yeah, and it has that flow-on effect naturally as well too. You know, if you even think about it, you know, the minute you start exercising and you're being consistent with it, it's like, okay, I'm just going to drink a little bit more water, you know, or I'm going to be more conscious to eat protein, or you know, I'm going to go to bed early because I want to get up and go to my workout in the morning. So it does start to impact, you know, that whole range of routines that you've got going on.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's move into how do you build consistency? You know, the first thing that I've got to say is it's about defining why it's important to you. Okay. So if you don't understand why you are exercising or losing weight or whatever it happens to be, then what's going to happen is you're going to be in that up and down cycle constantly.
Yeah.
Because you're not really fully committed to it. And it means that, you know, you really want to think about, you know, why is this important to me? Is it because I'm noticing a decline in strength? Is it because I'm noticing that I'm starting to grunt like my mother? You know, is it because I'm struggling to pick up my grandkids off the floor, or, you know, I'm reliant on my husband or significant other to put the bag in the overhead locker when we go traveling? So I'm starting to compromise, rely on other people to help me out. So that's a clear sign that there is this decline going. We call it the aging slippery slope. But there's a lot you can do to help yourself, and that is to, you know, start exercising and be consistent with it. So identifying your why is the first point that I would go with.
My first point would be, you say this all the time, is you just do it. So we know it's going to be a struggle in that first week or month. So you have to be deliberate in getting up and doing it.
Yeah.
And it will then, that's your consistency that you are creating. Consistency is like motivation. It's not just going to come to you. You have to be deliberate about getting it. So, you know, in that first week of starting out exercising, or the first month, you need to be deliberate in your workouts, when you're doing them, what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And then that is creating that consistency.
Yeah, that's right. The next point I wrote down was, you know, finding the activities that you enjoy. Now, I'm not saying that the exercise you enjoy, the activities that you enjoy. So this is all part of that why I'm talking about. So what is it that's important to you? You know, do I like kayaking? Do I like hiking? Do I like dancing? You know, do I have a sore back and aches and pains? And so that dancing is, you know, a bit of a problem. Do I go out kayaking and then have to sleep for 3 hours afterwards because I'm just not fit enough? You know, so when you start to think about, you know, what are the things that I enjoy, then think about, well, what is it that I need to do to support those activities that I really, really love? You know, for me, I love skiing.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do that, I need to stay fit and strong. You know, I've got to be able to carry, you know, a couple of sets of recently, a couple of sets of poles and a couple of sets of skis, because Paul couldn't do it because he had just got out of hospital. And so he wanted to ski, but he couldn't carry those things because of the op that he had. And so, you know, here I am wandering down the road with all of that extra luggage that I hadn't actually even thought about until that circumstance happened. Yeah.
My next one is, what can you do today?
Yeah.
What is something that you can do today that you know that you will get done? And we had our masterclass on the weekend, and we were talking about the mini movements.
Yeah.
You know, sitting on your chair, doing the high knees, you know, push-ups at your desk, that sort of thing. And we do have a Fit in 5 guide. So what can you do today that's going to create that consistency?
Yeah.
You know, it does not have to be an hour workout that you need to do, or an hour weight training session. It can be 5 minutes every hour on the hour, 5 minutes every 3 hours, because those little 5-minute blocks are going to create that consistency for that day. Then you're going to increase it, so that consistency is going to increase too.
Yeah. And it's about that slow and gradual approach to it, rather than I'm going all in on it. And I just recently had this conversation with a PT client as well too. You know, she was looking very, very frazzled when she turned up to her session, you know, and she said, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And she's only just started. And I said, but, you know, I just wanted you to focus on this one thing. That's it, just this one thing. And she said, I know, but I'm all in on things. You know, that thought of, you know, I've got to do it and I've got to do it really well. And I said, yeah, but look at you, you're feeling frazzled. You know, what's going to happen next? You're going to turn around and you're going to go, it's not working, I'm giving up. Because you're doing too much. So that definitely taking those smaller chunks, being more gradual in it is a winner when it comes to building consistency. Because the thing is, Sal, and I often say this, you know, because we have a fast program, which is only 10 minutes a day. But, you know, if you can't manage to do 10 minutes a day, you're not going to manage to do, you know, a half an hour or an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it happens to be workout, because that 10 minutes just can't happen.
Yeah.
So again, it's like setting those expectations of, you know, what is my life right now? What have I got time for? And how am I going to basically schedule that into my calendar? How is it going to work?
Yeah. And I always say schedule in like a doctor's appointment, because you're not going to skip a doctor's appointment. Not in this day and age when it takes you 6 weeks to get into your doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you want to go and sit in the, emergency department for a runny nose or something or other.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The other thing is having like a workout buddy or a support buddy. So someone who, you're more likely, if you're meeting someone to go to a fitness session, you're more likely to show up. You're not going to let them down.
No.
No. It's easy to let yourself down.
Yeah. And that leads me into my next point, and it is big believer in, if you did it yesterday, you can do it today. Get out of the excuses. Get your head out of the excuses. You're not tired. You may be sore. But that's just your head talking. And one of the benefits of exercising when you are sore is it's going to help you repair quicker and help you get over that exercise soreness a lot quicker. But get out of your head. Ask yourself, I did it yesterday, why can't I do it today? And I can guarantee you there is no answer. You will not receive an answer as to why you can't do it today, because there's no reason why you can't do it today.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes the boredom, hits us. And it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, that's so boring. Yeah. Oh, I've done that all week, or, oh, that's too easy now. So mixing it up, I think, is really, really important.
Yeah.
And we often see that, ladies just go and do, one session of something. Because number one, they like it. Number two, it becomes easy to them. It becomes part of their routine, which is great. So they're maintaining, but, going back to that adaptation that we were talking about and that progression, we're not improving. We're just keeping the status quo. Yeah.
And don't just revert to the good old 4 sets, 12 reps. No. Change those workups out. If you're doing strength training or whatever, change those workups out up as well. You can do a ladder, you can do an AMRAP, you can change your reps, have heavier weights, less reps, have lighter weights, more reps. There's just, when that boredom is setting in, there's just so much that you can do to change that workup around. I can't even get my words out today.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is track your progress.
Yeah.
So, and that progress could simply be on your calendar. You give yourself a gold star for working out.
Yeah.
Because that in itself is a reward for you. So you're celebrating yourself and what you've achieved. And when you celebrate yourself, that actually in turn makes you feel good about yourself, but it also gives you that extra boost of motivation to keep doing it.
Yes. And even if you only get out 10 minutes, as you said.
Yeah.
Still give yourself that gold star, because it's better than the alternate, which is nothing. The minute you start doing nothing, that consistency is not going to be happening.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think and part of that tracking is, making adjustments, which is what you were just talking about. Don't just do sets and reps, mix it up, do something different, try and do all of the fitness foundations. Try and do the core workouts, the balance workouts, the flexibility, the mobility, the strength, the power, the endurance, all of those things, and that in itself, in saying that, you might be listening and going, that's just too much. It's overwhelming. So we go back to, we've got to make it small. We've got to make it manageable. We've got to make it something that fits into my life, so that I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I also thought about recovery, Sal. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves that time and space to, listen to the body and what it's telling us. But sometimes we listen too much, and we'll give ourselves an out as well too. So, that muscle, if we've got that muscle soreness, then it's like, walk it off. jump in a cold pool. You know,
Go and do squats.
just do something, because that active recovery is certainly going to help those muscles recover as well too.
Yeah. You know, an active recovery session could be a very, very, very lightweight session as well.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
it could be a kilo dumbbells, 3 sets of 12 reps. You know, a very, very lightweight set. Could be an active recovery well. It doesn't necessarily, when we're talking about active recovery, you know, hook onto that first word, it is active. So it's not active on your couch watching Netflix on your day off.
Oh, come on, Sal. Of course it is.
Get out and do something for 20 minutes.
I don't know what a day off is. I like my job. You know, the last point that I wanted to bring up was getting professional guidance, you know, so working with a personal trainer. I think when you've got someone who is guiding you, they're going to help you through all of these things that we're talking about. They're also going to make sure that, you know, when they're hearing the excuses, they're going to call you out on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes that can be a little upsetting if they call you out on it, but they're doing it because they care about you.
Yeah.
And they want you to succeed with whatever those goals happen to be for you. But that all comes back down to, what are those goals? Why is this important to me? That why is, you know, the thing that drives you to consistency.
Yeah. My last point is, with your consistency and with your goal, write it in a book. When you're sitting there reading what you have done over the past month or what you've done over the past 6 months, that can be a real big ego boost and can keep you going with your consistency. So, grab a notebook, write everything down.
Yeah, journaling is such a great tool. Yeah, I really do appreciate the fact that, you know, I'm often flicking through, and I've got lots of journals. I'm often flicking through going, when did I write about that? And so now what I've started doing is putting dates that I start and finish on the front of the journals. I'm writing things down because, and then, you know, if there's certain points in there that I think, you know, that might be of value to me later on, I'm actually writing the little points down on the front of those journals as well too. So, because as I said, I go back to these things because they do keep me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
So I think in finishing up, ladies, we really just want to say that the key to consistency is to make it enjoyable and simple, not easy, and aligned with what's important to you and your life. That's the thing that's going to help you stay committed to it. Thanks for joining me, Sal.
Thank you for having me as always.
You are very welcome. All right, we'll see you soon, ladies.
Bye, ladies.